everybody, I'm Miss Lyn, and today we are going to have a great time starting on a wonderful project. The name of this project is Behind the Door, and what you're going to do is you are actually going to make a door. Now it's not a big door, it's a little door. It's about this big by about that big, so it's not a huge door. It's not a door that you can walk through or I can walk through. But it's a door that an imaginary friend can walk through, or a fairy, or a gnome. Have you ever wondered what a fairy or a gnome might look like? They can look like anything, really. But I have a couple of pictures of what they might look like. I'm going to show you. This might be what a fairy looks like. Very little, very tiny, and most of them have wings. This is a boy fairy who looks a little bit different. So they can look like anything or anybody. You could also make your door for a gnome. And a gnome, well actually, let me mention this too. You could also make your door for an imaginary creature like a unicorn or any creature you make up. There is no wrong way to do this. Your imagination is what it's all about. Gnomes are little short guys. They kind of look like this. Or maybe like this. Okay. Now you can make your door for anyone you want. A fairy, a gnome, a little tiny superhero who can save the whole world because he gets so little. So if your fairy is an indoor fairy, you might want to put your door down on the floor of your house, up against the floor, leaning against the wall. If your fairy or your gnome is an outdoor fairy or gnome, you might want to put it outside, up against a tree or a rock, or even your house. If your fairy can fly, or your little superhero or your little creature can fly, you can put it up on the wall like a picture. Anything you decide to do is great. The first thing you want to do though, here's your door, is you want to have a grown-up hammer this thing into the back. It's in your package. And this will make it easier for you to hang it. Now, if you don't have anybody to do that, that's okay, because you can just lean it. But this is something that you can use if you want to hang it. You have scissors in your package, and that's good, because you'll need those. Now, the fun starts. What you want to do before you begin your whole project is to figure out where you're going to be working on your door. You want to do it on a table. You want to be sure you have paper towels or newspapers so that you don't mess up the tabletop. Second of all, if you have a dog or a cat, you might want to make sure that they can't get to it. My cat actually tried to eat my door, so I had to move it. So they will try to get at your things if they can, so try to keep it away from your pets. If you have tin foil, get some of that because you're going to want to put your glue on it, and before that, if you paint your door, you're going to want to be able to put your paint on the tin foil. Now, let's take out our package and see what we got in there, because there's some great stuff in your package. First, we have Spanish moss. And this stuff is great, but it is tricky to work with, so I'll have to show you how to do that. Second, you have these great flowers, which are just wonderful, and you can do all kinds of things with these. You have some real pretty green things that you can use. And you will also have several pretty shiny things that you can use. Now, you won't have this many, you might just have a few, but save them. Be sure you don't lose what you have because there aren't any more. But there are all kinds of fun, bright colored things that you can add to your door. This is going to be part of your doorknob, so be real careful with this thing. You don't want to lose this. But you really don't want to lose anything because if you do, it's just that much less you'll have to work with. I was so excited about this project that I actually made 2 doors, and I want to show them to you. This is my door for an inside fairy or an inside creature. This door I will lean against probably the floor, on the floor against the door. And that way a teeny tiny little fairy or a little gnome or a little imaginary creature can go inside. So that's my first door that I made. Then I thought, well, what if I had an outdoor imaginary friend? I thought, what could I do then? So what I did was go outside, and I looked outside for leaves and acorns and interesting things, and here's what I came up with for that. This is an outdoor door for a little outdoor creature, and this I would probably lean against a tree or a rock or something like that. It's just leaves, and there's my little door. We call this a door plate. This is a little door plate, but that's your doorknob. I made my doorknob out of an acorn, but you can use a tiny rock, or even better, you could use one of these shiny things like a star or even a flower. So anything that you want to use is good. But these are my two doors. So that just gives you a little bit to think about when you're thinking about your own door. If you have stickers at your house, that's great. Those are fun to put on a door. If you have buttons, or you know somewhere where there are buttons that you might be able to use, ask a grown-up, but those would be fun to put on a door too. Remember that anything heavy, like a big rock or a big toy, is going to not hold up to the glue, because the glue you can only put light things. If you have a teeny tiny toy of your own you want to put on it, you can try, but if it's heavy, it's probably going to fall off. So really light like a feather, not heavy things. That's what we need for our doors. Okay, now we will be using glue. Here's your glue. And this glue is probably going to get all over you and all over what you're gluing. And one of the things about glue is it sticks to you and to your door. So be ready to get up and wash your hands and dry them real good with a towel if you get too much glue. But the secret is not to use a lot of glue at one time. Just take it and put a teeny bit on there, and if that doesn't work, put a little bit more, but don't just pour it on like it's ketchup, because it will make a big mess. Now, about this Spanish moss. When you decide to use this, you can use it all in one piece, stick it on your door like that, but you may decide you don't want to do that. So that's why we want to place everything first on our door. This you pull apart and you have to twist it. We'll go into it, but there's a reason you don't just put one down and glue it and put something else down and glue it. You want to place everything on your door first and then look at it and say, do I like that or not? And if you do, great, you can glue it. If you don't, you can take something off, you can move it around. So you just want to make sure everything is placed. Planning is so important when you're making your door. I had so much fun making my two doors, I'm going to make another one with you. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to paint my door. Painting your door is a great idea, but you do have to let your door dry overnight. If you paint your door, you won't be able to do anything else to your door until the paint is dry. But that doesn't mean you can't look around your house for other things. You can't look at you can look at what's in your kit, and you can decide if you want to use that, how you want to use it. You can kind of play around in your mind about where you might want to put things. You can go outside with a grown-up and find some cool things in your yard. But if you paint your door, we want to paint it today because you want to let it dry overnight. Let's see, from my door, I think I'm going to make mine for a girl superhero. Now, my girl superhero I don't think she would like it painted, so I'm going to leave it plain, but she likes lots of shiny things. So I'm going to put some of these on here, and she likes flowers. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to think about it a while. Let's go ahead and paint. Let's get your paint out. Take some of your paint with the cap on it still, shake it up. Don't make sure it's not open. Close the cap tight, shake it up real good. Then pour some of it onto your tin foil. If you don't have that, you can use a plate, but pour it out. Now you've got a paintbrush in there, so you want to take your brush and dip it into your paint. When you're painting, paint in one direction. What I mean is, don't paint like this, don't paint like that, don't paint like that. paint down or up. But only paint one way, because when you paint two ways, it looks kind of crazy. Then when you finish painting this, you paint your top and your sides and your bottom and your back. And then you lay it down carefully and you wait for it to dry. Have you decided who your door is going to be for? It could be for anybody. Remember, a fairy, a gnome, an outdoor magical creature. It could be for a little mouse or a squirrel, or even you. You could make believe that you can get so small that you can go through one of these doors. So if whatever you decide to do, be thinking, because that way you can start thinking, how would that person or that magical creature like for that door to look? And that's the way to get started. Now we're going to have a fun homework assignment. What we're going to do is, if you've painted your door, you're going to set it aside to dry. But walk around your house. Do you have any stickers? Do you have any tiny, tiny little creatures you might want to add? You don't need to, because you have tons of great stuff right here in your package. But if you decide you want to do some outdoor stuff, this is the time to go outside with a grown-up and look around. If you decide you want to do it indoors, be looking at your stuff and saying, I like this, I think I like this. And that will help you get an idea for the next time we get together, when we're going to put our doors together. That's it for now, and I can't wait to see you when we come back together.